so much for allowing me to be here today. I have been in Asia for the last couple of weeks, so it's nice to be back in the United States. I am from Nashville, Tennessee, and I have spent the first half of my career professionally focused on working with what are called human monoclonal antibodies. It's basically a type of antibody that's from not fetal cells, but cells in the body that we mix with murine, and which is mouse DNA, because the closest DNA to our DNA is actually a mouse. And most people don't know that because they think it's either an ape or a dog, but it is actually a mouse, which is humbling to me as a person, and it helps me remember always just how everything is very important and just how significant and insignificant things can be. So I spent my career trying to learn how to cure rare diseases and types of cancer like proximal nocturnal hemoglobinuria, sarcoidosis, scleroderma, just these big names. I know, but they were rare diseases that you would have to use stem cell technology to go in, where we would program cells that would be targeted to go in to talk basically to other cells within the body to tell the cells either you need to die, and then they would help them die, or you need to look like me, and we would help the cells change. And I know that sounds really odd, but that's a way to explain stem cell technology. So if you guys have individuals you know that have had cancer, multiple sclerosis, rheumatoid arthritis, things like that, a lot of them will have infusions, and that's actually stem cells, and they're targeted technology. So instead of setting off a bomb like a chemotherapy product, we tried to target certain cells and communicate with them and teach those cells how to be different. So like everything in life, you can reach points where you feel like, well, I did something good, and maybe had a little bit of pride or arrogance, and I've learned very many times in my life, and I tell my children this, don't be arrogant, because if you are, you will quickly fall on your feet or fall down from your feet, because I spent all that time working on products to help diseases, and I'm very glad that I did. But when I started looking into prevention and wellness and nutraceutical products and certain formulas, and realizing there were products out there that had higher efficacy rates than chemotherapy and stem cell products, and I'm not against chemotherapy and stem cell products, I'm absolutely for traditional therapy. But when I started realizing there were actually things that would stop inflammation, that would stop cells from talking to each other and becoming bad, because see, here's the deal. When you have a cancer cell and it's bad, it picks up the phone and calls another cell and says, you need to be part of my gang, and now you're gonna be bad. And so that's what happens. It's called a inflammation cascade, and it multiplies. So tomorrow we're going to talk a lot about that. Tonight when you go home, if you guys want to think of yourself as the mayor of your city, we're going to talk about that, because we actually are in control of our own city. And just to give you a thought for this evening, you actually do have control about what goes on in your body. And what I love about Rain is Rain has brought to you guys the technology and the ability to bring the best formulas into your body to clean out the bad cells, stop those cells from communicating with each other, and make those healthy cells grow. And the way they're doing that is they're taking a product like Core that has very, very good ingredients that are made from seed technology with a mechanism of action that causes the cells to communicate in a positive way, so they will clean out and get rid of the bad cells. And then they bring in products like Soul, which causes those cells to redecorate. So I love your what you did, and I love how your decorations, I told you I was impressed with that. But that's what you're doing when you're putting Soul into your body. You're redecorating. And I tell people this all the time, you can't redecorate unless you've cleaned your house first. So right now they're painting my kitchen. They've had to get rid of all the old stuff, and then they say by next week they'll start bringing the new things in. But again, that's what you're doing at Rain with your Core and your Soul. So I'm very excited to talk to you guys about this. I'm very thankful to be at this company. I have to tell you, At first, I thought, you know what, I've gone from working with pharmaceutical, biotech, and then the last actually 9 years of my life, I've worked a lot with the Center of Medicaid, Medicare, Center of Medical Research with our government and with network doctors. And you'll meet Dr. Diaz and Dr. Cather. We have focused on the improvement of healthcare, and I really took a stance in our government with prevention and wellness. But I really did not think I was going to end up at a company that worked on these products. But what happened was I met the leadership of this company, and I felt at home. We talked about that earlier in the car. I felt immediately like I was in an environment where I felt safe, and I felt like people were good. And so you've got these great products that are able to save people's lives, protect their bodies, clean their bodies, and then you've got these great leadership groups. And here's what RAIN did. They committed the resources to a division of RAIN that's not just a medical doctor, not just a research scientist, but the development of an entire department that will grow and not only make these products even better, but produce new products. And they're dedicated to it because they care. And here's some stuff that we're going to talk about more tomorrow. It talks about immune support, it talks about protection. We're going to get into all of that. I'm very excited to share that with you. Hopefully I'll be able to give you guys some knowledge tomorrow that when you leave here, you will feel very excited about telling others about their body. I get very excited about science. I have 4 kids, 21 to 12, and I love telling them about it. And I have to tell you, even kids, when you explain what's going on in their body, they get excited. And the thing is, your body is different than your body. All of our bodies are different. So we may be taking these products and one person doesn't feel anything, and then another person's like, I don't feel good, I started taking core, and they're detoxing, right? So they might not feel great at first. It doesn't matter how you're feeling while you're taking these products because your cells are communicating inside in a different way, but the results are going to end up being the same. So we'll talk about all that tomorrow. This is just a little bit about Sol, black cumin seed, black raspberry seed, and Chardonnay, and I have to tell you this. When I started looking into the ingredients and the dosing and how RAIN made their products, I'm very familiar with the University of Maryland. I've taught classes at Johns Hopkins in the fields of oncology, neurosurgery, and orthopedics. So I am familiar with that university because Johns Hopkins has done a lot with the University of Maryland. I actually, if you go to clinicaltrials.gov right now, you'll see my name. I am currently still doing some stuff at Johns Hopkins, so under the research umbrella. So I was very excited learning about these products because black cumin seed and black raspberry, and what they did in Maryland was they took these ingredients, they formed it in a compressed way where you would be able to deliver this into your body and be able to actually protect the body during chemotherapy and during radiation. I'm saying that based on the research that's produced from studies, not from RAIN. I'm saying that based on the research from NIH and PubMed, which talks about when you use these particular ingredients in a certain way, you produce protective shells over the cell that will actually kind of act like a mother protecting a child. And we'll go over those research articles a little bit tomorrow. But that's why Sol is just such a powerful tool as far as protecting and then also putting those nutrients back into the cell. So we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
It's another little video.
Okay.
It doesn't have to be complicated because take cycling, for example. It's simple, fluidity, it calls a child for nostalgia.
Very excited when I really get into it, but and I can't wait to show you guys the research data because I think that's, and I'm not trying to make everyone scientists at all, believe me, because I know a lot of people think things I think are exciting or boring, but I think the way that I will be able to communicate it will be something that you guys can hopefully share with others. I tell people this all the time, people think doctors save lives, but everyone can save someone's life. And it's knowledge and passing that on, because a lot of the things that are communicated as doctors and scientists were kind of brainwashed. You know, when I went to school, I went to school for a long time and then kept going to school, but you're educated with what people know or what they've been taught. And a lot of the educational system is funded by a lot of things that are made to help us when we're sick. So there's not as much education that goes into what do we prevent ourselves from getting sick. And the World Health Congress came out with a report in 2014 and 2015, which said about 80% of our health problems are from toxins in the environment. So what do we do about that? Well, if you were me, I was spending my time working on medications and on formulas to help people when they were already sick. But if you step back, what you could do, which is what Rain has done, and which what a lot of you guys have done that have been here in other companies, but Rain has a technology that really has hit it on the head of what you need to do. But what you guys have done is you've gone and looked at technology which can help in prevention and wellness. So you have the ability to touch people as much or more than even doctors, because you can talk to anyone when you're sitting on, like you said, it doesn't matter. You can go into a room if you're at a jail or if you're on stage. And so while I think doctors are imperative and they help all of us, and I'm so thankful for them and I'm thankful for my education, I'm telling you guys you have the ability. So the things that I would like to teach you, hopefully help you understand, will be your ability to touch others and bring to them the knowledge of what core and soul can really do. So core is really, and I talked to somebody about this a little earlier, and I want to say this very quickly. If you take soul, and soul makes you feel so good because it has D-ribose in it, and it gives you energy, and it has black cumin and black raspberry and Chardonnay, it's amazing. But core, even though it might take a while to get used to, those ingredients, I'm saying them from personal experience. At first I thought, forget this.
As a core.
Yeah,
Seriously.
I really thought, I know this is such a good product, but it's hard for me to take. But then the more I started looking into the ingredients and how they formulated it, it's a superfood, but it detoxes the cell. You cannot, you talk about anti-aging, I've worked on anti-aging, and I can tell you guys, you cannot, if you're worried about what you look like, inside and outside, you have to take the core. And I care what I look like a little bit, and that's fine. But I mean, I want to detox inside and outside, so I like using it inside and I like using it outside. It's a great product. And we will get into that. And I can't wait to learn from you all, because I have to tell you, when I was in Asia, I learned so much from other people. Scientists, the type of scientist I am, I start reading things and I will get lost in the research for just days. My kids are like, Mom, pay attention. But then I learn from talking to people even as much or more. And then I go back to the research, and I'm going to be in the lab working on things, and some of the other doctors are as well. So I want to hear the experiences you have. I want to hear the good and the bad. We can't solve products, we can't solve issues unless you tell us the good and the bad about the product. So one of the things we're going to do is launch a scientific advisory board, which is outside the company, and we're also going to develop this clinical science department inside the company. And I'm so excited about that, because we're going to gather all of the data, good and bad, we're going to register it, and we're going to produce it for you guys in research studies. So I look forward to it. Thank you so much for this opportunity. I'm very thankful to be here, and I think there might be a few more slides, but that's about all I have to say.